Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Jia Yun. I'm one of the two co-curators of the exhibition whose kind of graphics you see behind me. The title of the exhibition is See Me, See You, Early Video Installation in Southeast Asia. So thank you again for joining us. We actually have the fantastic opportunity to show Heri Dono's video installation in See Me, See You, which is a two-part show that explores the earliest emergences and instances of video art through video installation in Southeast Asia. So for those of you who have already seen the installation, Heri will provide us with a much more in-depth look into the socio-political backdrop of Indonesia against which this work was made, and also the way in which it is situated within a larger set of artistic concerns and methodologies. So for those of you who haven't, we invite you to explore the work and the exhibition after this talk. We have also asked Heri to share a bit more about a compact selection of works from his prolific earth that provide a broader overview of his practice. And just in case some of you are not so familiar with Heri Dono, his practice combines the traditional art form of wayang kulit, or shadow puppetry, with contemporary artistic modes and mediums, including painting, installation, and performance art. He weaves characters from Indonesian folklore into his own tales, blending them together with contemporary themes and motifs. He is known for his artworks that comment on culture, society, and humanity through distortion and humor. Heri Dono has participated in international festivals, including the Kochi-Muziris Biennale, the Venice Biennale, the Guangzhou Triennial, the Gwangju Biennale, wow, it's like a rhyme, and the Asia Pacific Triennale. So without further ado, Heri Dono, please take the stage. Thank you.
Thank you everyone to come to attend of this artist talk program for the exhibition of CMCU. So Jayun already told about my background. Well, I studied in Yogyakarta in art school in 1980 until 87. And at the time, we learned that from the tradition structure, there is no boundaries between art disciplines of art, between music, painting or sculpture, design, dance, etc. You know, they are all connected each other. During the regime of Suharto, actually, we have a lot of problem for freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and we have no space to explore our conversation with others because a lot of military spy and everyone can catch automatically when they saw you, and then you go to the jail or they kill you and no any rules at the time. And when I was a student, I tried to create the artwork in the tension between humor and the irony, the danger things, you know, the in between people will laugh or will scare. Like in the theater, always has a conflict. This time I exhibit about in CMCU exhibition the works I made in 1992. The title is Hoping to Hear From You Soon. This is like how to get hopes in the future at the time, you know, from 1992, because we just have the reform movement in 1998. So artwork actually is also to give a consciousness of people about something, awareness. So this time, for the CMCU exhibition, I will see the background before 1992, that when I was 14 years old, you know, I studied in the central of Jakarta. And at the time, I remember I have to hide in the we call Gedung Kesenian near Pasar Baru because my school is just close to Pasar Baru in Jakarta. Because many military from Salemba Street, from Indonesian University in Jakarta. So it's difficult to return to my house because many cars burn on the street. And 1978 is the NKK, BKK is like the normalization of campus life, all censorship, no odium for people to talk in the public space. And in 1978, at that time I was in the high school in Jakarta, in Mangga Besar, and we make a demonstration inside the school at that time. At that time, I was a leader in the high school, and at that time we burned the podium in the hall because at that time a lot of police in the front of our school, but they cannot go enter because this is a school. Yeah, they cannot enter, and we just make demonstration inside the school. And in 1984, they have a incident in Tanjung Priok in North Jakarta when some people get killed by military. So at the time, it's a kind of like chaos, like in the school, we cannot understand about this is true or this is false information because all already censorship by the government at the time. And about the exploration of shadows, leather puppetry, actually, like I mentioned about, when I studied in painting department in art school, I combine between animism and animation because all the same spirit of the life in cartoon. Because every elements in our life, like small one drop of water, also can live in cartoon. The chair can run. Everything alive, yeah. And this is like if we see from Tao Te Ching, from Lao Tzu, actually all elements in macrocosmos exist in our microcosmos, in our body like holobion. And so from animism and animation, so I also create the puppet. So the puppet actually is our video art for many from our ancient ancestor, because we use fabric as a screen, and at that time they have the game watch, yeah, the game watch or PlayStation or television, and they all use glass, the screen made of glass, but we create screen made of fabric, like in Shadow Puppet. So when I came to the Goethe Institute in Jakarta, we borrowed some video art in 1983, around 1980, yeah, when I was student as well. We show those videos in IKJ. IKJ is in Jakarta Art School, and to show the works by Bill Viola or Nam June Paik and others, yeah, the other video artists. And many students get sleep, because they think this is no narration, just, the video, they don't know this is art or not art, yeah. So then in 1992 and 1988, I create the wayang legenda from North Sumatra, we call Situngko Tunggal Panaluan, because in 1980s, the Indonesian government have a project they call Javanization, to create all culture in Indonesia like Javanese through Suharto. And no space for other culture, like in the eastern part of Indonesia. Actually, they have no background as a Javanese, but all leader speech like Javanese people. And for me, it's not fair if we have to kill many culture in Indonesia. So I start with the puppet from North Sumatra, from Bataknis people. And this story also still happen in Samosir Island in the middle of Toba Lake. And so a food stall as an independent educational institution. So because we have no space, when we are student, because from 1978, they already use military regiment from student to control our activities. So in 1980, we use our culture through folklore like from Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Panji epics, and Joko Tingkir, or many folklore who has the problem of social and political issues as our metaphor. So we don't say Indonesia, we say Astinapura, the kingdom called Astinapura. So we criticize Astinapura actually is his metaphor in Indonesia at the time. From the military student, sometimes we have to make a trick that especially in our art school, because they are also art students. And we make a program to them to make the exercise outside of the campus of the art school, and then we make demonstration inside the art school, and then after we finish demonstration, they come back to the art school. We already make discussion with them, like because they don't need to make responsibility, especially when we have the Minister of Education at the time, Fuad Hassan, as a minister, and we make demonstration in front of him. When we have the sole exhibition of Vidayat, our teacher. So when the opening of Vidayat in our art school, we make demonstration. After demonstration finish, the military student come to our school, because we fight each other with friends, yeah, at the time. And so our art school now moved to the south of Yogyakarta, and different like when we are a student, because when we are student, our teacher and ourselves, other student, we a lot of discussion each other. But now it's like hierarchy, teacher in the high ranking, and then the student has consumed the knowledge, not interaction anymore like before. So the methods long time ago is like pesantren, like the Muslim school, that people has their own potential things, and we don't dictate them to do something, but we become besider, like how to support them, each other. And this is the movie that everybody has to see this movie since 19, I think 1978, because this is like the propaganda movie by Suharto about the how they call communists as a bad thing, like we have to kill all communists at the time in 1965. Maybe around 1 million people get killed, and some also put in the jail in the Buru Island in eastern part of Indonesia, like Pramudia Anantatur, the writer. So everybody has from school has to go to see on TV every year in September, that people think this is right, this is true. So when I was kid, my father worked with the first Indonesian president, and then always, get military come to my house and interrogate my father and also my mother, and they, mess all of the cupboard, all things that has connection with communists or symbol of the Communist Party. And I saw you also people has to go to the truck with the hand on the head, and also when I was 8 years old, I also saw the soldiers killed the four people just sit down around and then they killed when I returned from my primary school at the time. And then they hold this dead body in the banana trees, around banana trees in my neighborhood. So that's everything I saw. I think I have to explore in the artwork and also I think art as a witness of the situation. I think it's good to show about what happened. And this one is a kind of the food stall. I think in Singapore before we have like S11. I think if everyone remember about S11 in between uh, substation and Singapore Art Museum, the old Singapore Art Museum. I mean, not now in Tanjung Pagar. We talk about art and culture, social, political issue in this pedestal in S11. Actually, S11 is symbol of dollar, and always eat laksa at the time over there. So this work is hoping to hear from you soon. Already exhibit in New Art from Southeast Asia in 1992, the travel exhibition from Hiroshima, Fukuoka, Osaka, and Tokyo. And also in the first Asia Pacific Triennial in Brisbane in Queensland Art Gallery in Australia. And also exhibited at the Museum Macan in Jakarta. Macan, acronym of Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art. What is that?
In Nusantara. In
Nusantara. Nusantara. Oh yeah. I didn't know about the acronym of them. I know Macan is a tiger, but this is acronym of the Macan. At the time, the exhibition called Dunia Dalam Berita, like art news, you know. And so then after that, I returned this to my studio, and I feel happy that can exhibit for the See Me See You exhibition together with other old friends like Ray Lichtenberg and others. Yeah, and this one also I make in 1998 until 1999 after the Reformasi because we participate for the movement at the time. And we have the in art school in Yogyakarta we have new media department since 1994, and then all of the students need support from me to create the video art. And then at the time we have to work in different places. One in my puppet master Sukasman, when we create with a very long time, yeah, because at the time I don't know, like only 2 minutes, maybe need one night, you know, to wait until sleep in the front of the computer. And after that to in Alliance Française in Yogyakarta, and also in my house and also in art school. So we have to go from one place to the other place because at that time the Indonesian policemen can catch us when they know about our address, and we have to after 1998 they call reformasi, yeah, but still if suspicious of something they can catch you. And we use the AK-47, the gun, and we borrow from the soldier at the time, and we make a casting. We pay 500,000 rupiah to borrow to make a casting at the time. Because in Indonesia, if you know the soldier, you can borrow and then make. Yeah, yeah. I don't know now, but at that time it's very strange, like very wild, like no rules, like anarchy. And we make this video during the Reformasi, and also we have one video from the massacre in Dili in East Timor when they killed in Santa Cruz cemetery. So yeah, so
There's a little bit of the video
oh,
on the next slide. You can click through.
how to
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
or maybe
Let me just click.
Kami korban
Apa alasan
dari
kalian?
pembodohan, indoktrinasi, teror, pemberedelan intelektual, dan hati nurani kemanusiaan. Apa itu Majelis Permusyawaratan Rakyat?
So just a short preview.
yeah. So this is about the word what they say is very soft, but it's about something cruelness from the people who make interrogation. Some use the Japanese language like a chanting, but in the content actually it's about how to make a torture. Like if you don't tell your friend, they want to put your finger under the table and they will sit down until take out the what's the name?
It'll bleed. Your
Yeah.
finger will bleed.
Mm-hmm. So that's but this is like a chanting, like Suharto when he smile as a general, he just say, please clean this, that, and the other soldiers receive this word not only clean but maybe get killed or they have to get killed or put in the jail, like with the smiling things, like he call it I think as a smiling general, the Suharto.
Could you share more about the process of making this video, Pak Heri? It has elements of video collage, which are also present in the other single channel video work that we will see a bit later. What was the process of locating this footage, and who is this person on screen?
Yes, Jayun, yeah. So the person actually the student from the art school who just opened the new media department in 1994. So that's we didn't use the real activists because very danger for them because they're looking for. But for the art student, we can say this is
Art project.
art project, like art project, and we make this background in the Alliance Française because Alliance Française has a big screen, so they can sit down. They can, sit in the front of the screen because we don't find the big screen only in Alliance Française, but we make every person in my studio. So I rent one place as a studio, and then we make video of every person with my scenario, and then we went to Alliance Française for making the background, and after that we also make how to say one by one like 5 or 6 episodes, like in my puppet master Sukasman.
Okay. So each video channel is actually different, right? In the multi-channel video installation.
Yeah, they are different only the same time, like configuration, like one and then in the same time, and go to the second, go to the third. Yes.
Okay, incredible. Yeah, I think when we experience the work in your studio, the sound is also quite cacophonous. It's not a single kind of sound source. So the voices kind of bleed into one another, and the footage also, shows like different scenarios from protests as well. So it's a very powerful work to see, especially because the guns are actually also mounted in front of the television screens. Yeah.
Yes, but before I used the VHS cassettes with the VHS uh, um, player, like a tape player, but this time use MP3, MP4. Because if you use VHS, very difficult, like to with the tape, yeah, like to
To keep
return and
rewinding and replaying.
yeah, and we try to find our files from VHS, and some get scratched. So I found in DVD at the time. So luckily I still have DVD because in all VHS has a scratch, yeah. But I still keep the VHS and also the cassette uh, the from VHS to DVD, and from VHS I still keep this video, the original. So I like to archive everything in my studio.
And I mean, in terms of how this work relates to hoping to hear from you soon, it's made 6 years later, and also by going just by the dates as an index, it's meant to be a very different time, right? The Suharto regime is kind of ending. But would you say that that was the case, or that it was still a period of great transition and also uncertainty? What was the atmosphere like, and how was it different from when you made Hoping to Hear from You Soon? Yeah.
Well, when I make Hoping to Hear from You Soon, when we, like hiding like in the puppets, it's like a puppet. Everything is flat. It's like cannot do frontal. But after 1998, we can talk directly. We can do frontal, not as a puppet, because puppet never go frontal. Yeah, shadow puppet always make a flat like in the right or in the left, never go to front because in the front you cannot see the shadows. Yeah, and so the interrogation is a kind of to make a statement that we protest, yeah, about many people get killed, and until today we don't know where they are. Some activists, yeah, the like Viji Tukul, from Solo. He until today this writer also disappeared, and more than 14 activists also disappear at that time, and probably use the military way. I hope next time we don't have the president from the military background, because very very danger. I think use military in the country.
So between the two works, there's a kind of a movement, from the shadows into the light as well. That faces can be shown, people can be seen, and there isn't such a kind of a need to kind of veil, the messages of the artwork as well.
Yeah, like hoping to hear from you soon. Actually, there is two of my friend as in the shadows. One is Joseph Praba. He's a music composer. He in the fifth floor. If you see my shadow puppet, wayang legenda, you can see the shadows. At that time, he also come to the grand opening of the National Gallery of Singapore. So he's appear in the shadows. And also my friend Hedi Haryanto as a sculpture also appear. But they are safe because as shadows, it's okay. But if I make like this in 1992, maybe they are in problem, Maybe they get killed them.
So it's a very different kind of political climate just within the span of 6 years. Well, then how about the next work that you also wanted to surface for discussion? This installation, Political Clowns. I think it's
This political clown. So I make this studio. This is my old studio. I ran the very spooky studio, because I always rent the very spooky house because very cheap to rent. Nobody want to stay there, so for me, it's a trick to get the studio. So I always find in the newspaper about the spooky house, and then I rent and then use a studio. So in this studio, I make this political clown, and this is I exhibit at the National Gallery in Jakarta in 1994. Oh no, in 2004. Sorry, and this is about politicians who actually, before for me, they are so clever, but when Reformasi finished, they have no statement because all dictated by the power as a clown. And they have the urine energy, the bottle with the urine energy. Yeah. But in the exhibition, I put the vegetable oil because if I put the urine, it will be stink.
Very considerate. Yeah, very considerate.
So this is political clown, and the voice actually from my friend who can play language. No, the sound is like Suharto. His name is Butet Kertarajasa, who make the voice like Suharto at the time, and also he talk when I borrow one truck of soil from north of Yogyakarta in the mountain, Mount Merapi, for Hari Bumi, for the Earth Day. And in the middle of the night, he speaks like Suharto, and everyone think this is Suharto.
Ghost.
The ghost of Suharto. And this is political clown, but as video.
Yeah, you can press.
So this video I make with without editing. I mean, I use 6 hours video, and I make in the house with the slide, and also with the old silhouette film camera, film projection. Also with the collage on the TV screen, and also put the video in the screen. So beside the TV monitor, they have like mini compo for the sound, and also in the front of my house I put the gong. So I asked my friend if the motorbike go through to the front of the house, put the gong to disappear of the sound of motorbike. So this is a political clown in not as an installation but as a video. So I make a casting of my face when I was 40 years old. So that's and I put the dot on the screen. Actually, they have some episode of this, not only this one. But
And this was made slightly before Hoping to Hear From You Soon, or after?
this one after.
After.
Because we make this video, and also with some art students from multimedia. They want to know about my process, and they come and they love, very much, because this is very playful to create the video without computer at the time.
And was the sound design also by yourself, or it's also with Joseph, or this was your own composition?
No, this is from by myself. So the sound, I collect many sounds, and also create sound from the looping tape. So the tape I cut and then put the masking tape, and then they make looping.
So you had to manage kind of multiple soundtracks. Were you kind of creating different sounds while filming this simultaneously?
Yeah, I always collected sound, like found object for me, not only physical but also sound. I think John Cage also collected sounds, because sounds also can collect it as a found object.
That's a beautiful idea, you know, the idea of found sound.
Found sound. Found sounds.
Okay, we'll pause this and I think bring us to the next painting that has a long and very beautiful history as well.
Yes, this is the painting I make from 1994 until 1998. So from 1994, the figure is not really clear. So in politic we can say this is like playing chess, you know, like they have a Megawati in the right side and Wiranto in the left side, and also Suharto in the mouth in the left side. He threw the weapons with the flower, and Prabowo also in the front with the pistol at the time. And they have Gus Dur with the wheelchair, and Suharto with the chair, and Harmoko, you know, and then the Sultan and Murdani, and also Ali Sadikin. And at the time, I tried um, to predict at the time that Megawati probably become president, because she has the black the red color of the party is like a communist during the 1960s. And yeah, last time she has as a president. Yeah, but now in our chess today is also in Indonesia is a bit like drama. Is a Jokowi with the dynasty, you know, like that, and that's. But at the time in 1998, I make this one, and I have a friend who who collect this painting for my solo exhibition in Jakarta for make catalog. So he buy this painting, and the money is to make the catalog for the exhibition. Actually, it's not catalog; it's a book written by 3 writers. So the person who buy this work cry in the front of this painting, because at the time in 1998 the family has moved to Sydney, because they rope of the factory, and like at the time many Chinese family has to go out from Indonesia. So when he came to, actually I put in my bedroom, nobody can see this work. So he come to the room, and then he collect this work, because of the memory, when the family has to go out from Indonesia to Australia. Yeah, actually, he has the same birthday with me, the same birthday. So every birthday, he gave me one big bag of T-shirt, because from his company who has this, like garment. Yeah, but then when he come back, and then he stay back to Indonesia, and we become friends, and until today we support each other. Yeah, he has a great collector, I think.
Thanks, Pak Heri. Actually, I mean, going back to also what you were sharing about, your experience as a university student, and then also being under the tutelage of Sukasman. Could you share more about the difference in approach? Being in a kind of a institutional pedagogical setting, and then moving through to what I imagine would be a very kind of informal apprenticeship under Sukasman. What prompted you to leave the university, to take up wayang kulit under Sukasman?
Well, at the time, actually, our system, when Jogja as an art school, many of our teachers never study in art school. Even Afandi or Sujoyono, even Widayat, Fajar Siddiq and others, because there is no art school, just freedom in 1945. And our art school built in 1950. It's impossible they studied in art school in, before and after independence. And then we learn each other, we learn from the phenomenon. Because in our creating in art, always connected with science and technology that appear when, even when we saw the Impressionist painting, actually also when people found the lamp or maybe Thomas Alva Edison or probably like Nikola Tesla, like maybe talk about the light. So in Impressionist painting also, when the first industrial revolution, when people can make the tubes, the color on tubes, so they can make painting outside of the studio. So for me, art always connected with what happened in art science, in culture, or like Homi Baba said about that this time is about the barbarian and civilization, in the same time. So I think about artificial intelligence, everything, like the new phenomenon, I think art always as a witness in the time, yeah. So in the art school today, actually, people see only from Google or YouTube. They have not connected with the real life or the cultural phenomenon around them.
Well, that's interesting because I think you earlier mentioned this idea that there was no need for screens and shadows after 1998. But I think this idea of what we see on the screen as still something of a shadow image, is a very powerful kind of sentiment, that you shared with Clarissa and I during our artist interview for the exhibition catalog. And I mean, circling back to this idea of, the educational kind of institution as a site where I think actually in this interview or this text that you wrote in 2000, you said that, the pedestal or the warung, which is which motifs you see actually on Hoping to Hear From You Soon, became a very important place of informal learning, because universities under the regime would only kind of promote ignorance. So would you say that, under someone like Sukasman, was he someone who was also driven by a kind of a social consciousness in wayang, or maybe that's also redundant in a sense that wayang kulit is always referencing back to society at large,
Well, the interesting of the shadow puppetry that always get the content of philosophy, because art without philosophy is only decoration, is only artistic. Many people see the shadow puppet from 9 o'clock in the evening until 5 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes they saw again the same story because always they try to find the content, the message. Today, people only see the preface of the artistic thing without think they are important the content of the message of the art they create. Because for me, the first supremacy of art is intellectuality, and the secondly is our aesthetic, the art philosophy, and the third is artistic. I think it's only artistic in the future, people difficult to talk about the art to the public if there is no content.
Okay, yeah, we'll leave AI to handle that side of things. But yeah, I think in terms of the points that we wanted to share in this discussion, I did prepare some questions, but actually they were all kind of absorbed into the talk. So thank you so much for your time, and we would like to open actually to the floor if there might be any questions from the audience to Park Heri.
So you were very brave to go into a haunted house. Did that affect your work at all, or did you purposely choose it to help influence your work? Thank you.
Well, probably sometimes I feel like I'm a part of the ghost. Like if you see the movie The Others, yeah, Nicole Kidman, who's the ghost? Probably I'm a ghost and they are not ghosts, like. So probably ghosts give me inspiration. I I think if people see ghosts, I think this is like hologram. It's like exotic things that very rare. The energy of the ghost can appear. So why we have to be scared with the ghost? Because this is exotic. I never seen them. But and the important thing actually about the space, yeah, because artists need a big space, and our spirit can adjust about the space itself. When I invited for the Venice Biennale in 2015, I make a trocomut about almost 8 meters length. Actually, the organizer want me to put the space like 600 square meter. And she asked me, is it possible to make in 600 square meter? Yes, because my spirit can adjust to 600 square meter. Our spirit actually is not like spirit like this. Yeah, we are also in the space. And for artists, it's difficult if we only have a small space. But even in small space, like Franz Kafka can create many books in the small house, in Prague. So space actually sometimes spirit can adjust small space, big space, like that.
Well, thanks, Harry, for sharing more with all of us regarding the background and contextualizing your work. I'm hoping to hear from you soon. So I was wondering. I mean, this might have also been. You might have also touched upon this on a separate interview that you did with me and Jayun, but with hoping to hear from you soon. So first, it was shown in Japan and then Australia. And was there any possibility, like during that time, to actually show it in Indonesia, given the political circumstances and also the technological requirements, because it utilizes projectors. So I was wondering if that was also easily available at the time for you to use and showing and exhibiting the work, in your own country at the time. Yeah.
Thank you, Clarissa. So some of my work actually mostly exhibited in overseas since 1990s. The first, like in 1991, in Switzerland, I exhibit in Museum of Ethnology. They call as Museum für Volkskunde, and now become Museum de Kulturen in Basel. Yeah. And then to Japan, to Australia. Mostly difficult to exhibit in Indonesia because of the regime at the time. And even I have the works now is collected by M Plus Museum in Hong Kong, the fermentation of mind, the 9 desk with a nodding head like that. I only exhibit in the front of my studio in the garden. Every 17th of August, with the Indonesian flag. I exhibit in front of the studio because not possible to exhibit in the gallery. And my neighbor always asks, do you want to create school? Because every 17th of August, I exhibit this in front of my studio. So, and like the works, hoping to hear from you soon. Actually, I don't have projector. At that time, projector is so big, like a traffic light. It's impossible to rent for me. At that time I just rent video camera in the wedding studio.
Studio, yeah.
So the photographer asked me, why you use this place only for video? And I just put stand, like with the tripod, the camera, and my friend sit down in the back of the screen. Because very hot, I put the big fans, electric fans, and with beer, and they can talk about politics, everything there. But then after that, I put in the puskat, like the Catholic.
Like an arts institute, right?
Yeah, Catholic Art Institute, and they have the facilities to make editing and other, like to change from the conversation to sounds. So my friend Joseph and myself create the sound with keyboard and like percussion. And we follow, like the movie Pengkhianatan G30 SPKI, like created by Suharto. Because Suharto create this scenario to the film director, to music composer, and create the propaganda narrative. Yeah. And even the film director didn't know the message from Suharto because he has to use the I think the ex-minister of education to put the scenario.
Yep, I remember you always telling us that the person who composed the music for the GS80 film didn't know what he was scoring for, but he was asked to score for a horror film. So you see a lot of footage being played back against a kind of very menacing soundscape, which was created, perhaps without his full kind of awareness. Yeah.
So the music composer didn't know that he just give order to make horror music for the political movie.
And I think you also shared about how that also impacted the way that Joseph Prabha designed the soundtrack for Hoping to Hear From You Soon, which I encourage all of you to listen and experience in your own time. It's a marvelous soundtrack, and it really changes the way that you experience the work in person. Yep. So I think with that, I'd like you to. Oh, one more question. Two more questions. Okay, sure, of course.
Hi. Hello. Hi. I'm a big fan of your work. It's very beautiful. And you were talking about how art and philosophy are related. I just want to know what are some of the current things that you're thinking about in your work. So some of the themes you have explored in the past is like politics or Indonesian culture and puppets. So currently, what are some of the things that you're thinking about?
Last time I make a lot of works about the American president. What is his name? With Trump. Well, I think today, a lot of, like in my time, we know, I think from the philosophy of Julius Caesar about to be emperor, you have to divide the power, like the fide et impera system. And now it's like more in proxy war. And I think we have, before we don't have awareness about that, why people fight each other or they kill each other. Even in Mahabharata story, they have the war between Pandawas and Kurawas. In my opinion, in Bharatayuddha war, probably they have something, this is only proxy, you know. Behind maybe someone want to get the profit from the war. And I think today, you know, we don't know about, or we know, but sometimes difficult to understand this is right or not. This is hoax or this is just, you know, like artificial intelligence with algorithm who work for many things. Yeah. So I think today we have to see that long time ago we see on the sky moon and stars are exotic. Yeah. But now our life conduct by satellites in outer space. Even if you, now we never see people ask about the address of people, yeah? Because you can go to Google Map, you can go directly to the that right place. Before you have to say, after this, turn left, and then you ask other people behind the trees or many things. Yeah? But now it's only direct because we organize everything from outside of the earth.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Heri, for your very thoughtful responses. And in the spirit of learning from real artists, we encourage everyone to see the exhibition and also the programs that we have on throughout the day as well. So thank you so much again for your time this weekend, and we hope to see more of you in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you. 谢谢。